on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment. So incredibly popular and awesome that it became its own good goddamn show. And it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. And it's a sad one. It's a tragic one for Dave here today. I mean, he definitely gets slapped around a little bit. And it's unfortunate for Dave, but it's what happened. Shout out Meltzer Said What, who is the GOAT, because this is one of his GOAT responses. It's just such gold. So Triple H said WWE is here to tell stories, which is true. They are clearly story-based. Even the wrestlers in AEW say things like, well, you know, the other company might tell stories outside of the ring, but like we choose to do our storytelling in the ring. So it's acknowledged by everybody who cries about the yeeting. And yes, the yeeting is part of the sports entertainment storytelling outside of the ring. It encompasses all that. It's the entertainment. We like wrestling, right? That's constantly the argument going on. And everybody who watches like Punk cut a 20-minute promo and then they cry about the first half hour of Raw had 0 minutes of wrestling. Like, yes, WWE's the story-based company. They have way better long-term storytelling. AEW's only been around 6 years, and they can't even tell like any long-term stories. They can barely do callbacks, and well, it's just like rehashing. And I mean, in essence, that's what all of wrestling is, and what you're trying to do. And that's, I say this all the time, it's what all movies are and music and everything, dude. There's only so many notes. You're just like putting a new coat of paint on it and putting your perspective on it and trying to do something new with something old. Everybody's inspired and pays homage to someone else, right? So anyways, Bryan and Dave take this as a personal knock at Tony Khan. Like they took it directly as, oh, he's taking a shot because Tony Khan doesn't tell stories? Bro, even the wrestlers say we tell our stories in the ring. What more needs to be said? Like, nah, I mean, yes, are there some stories that have been told? Has there been any amazing stories in AW? Yes, there's been a few, you know? And even some people would go, no, those weren't amazing. Oh, come on now, Phil. That's not very fair because it's like Punk versus MJF. Some people would be like that, which a lot of people like that, you know? At the end of the day, though, WWE simply stating the fact that we tell stories and we look at ourselves as more as like the sports entertainment. And then that's what that's what Dave and Bryan and sickos and everybody, even wackos, even people who love WWE have said that about WWE for decades. Now, like the in-ring action was even Ring of Honor's pitch and like that, guys. If you were around and on the websites back then and no DQ and all that back then, like it was all about, well, Ring of Honor's wrestling and TNA. I mean, the matches are way better. Stories, you know, WWE's more story-based. Like that's always what it was. And TNA would get sometimes from the internet fans back then, like, oh, they're trying to be WWE light by telling all these stories and because they were trying to sports entertain and stuff.
Levesque did a lot of talking. They're not there to have great matches. They're there to tell stories, which is what he said.
I felt like it was a knock at Tony Khan. Like,
well, it was.
You know, Tony's just trying to put great matches together. And what he's saying is he ain't got no stories. He's just doing great matches. But we're doing stories.
If anything, AEW has too many stories. Not that they don't have stories, but there's this thing that people say that AEW doesn't do stories, that people who don't watch the match, they all repeat to each other and it becomes like this thing. They don't do any stories like WWE. It's like,
bro, it doesn't mean literally. I've said this a bunch of times, but Dave, he's like, everyone repeats it back and forth to each other. AEW doesn't do any stories. Dude, they don't do stories of substance, man. And they don't carry things out long enough for a television audience. Like if you... Holy man, if this was like a soap opera and let's say it wasn't pro wrestling and this was just like a TV show getting the same criticisms, they would be like, there's no storyline in this dumb show. Even like Family Guy has a storyline for each episode. Like, yes, it's inconsequential and in AEW shit is inconsequential. You guys are already taken that approach and that's why it's related. Typically that's a comedy, you know, that's a comedy trope. That, you know, it's always sunny in Philadelphia. It's like, you know, storylines carry through, but shit doesn't really matter at the end of the day. That's sort of what it's like in AEW. You guys get compared to comedy. What are you talking about? They don't tell stories, dude. In comparison to what TNA's even doing, to what some of these other wrestling companies are attempting to do, even on the indies, dude. GCW has more people cooking on promos and shit. MLW is doing more like story-based shit than AEW is. As far as like long term, I don't know. Contra was fucking running wild on MLW. I fell off there, but it just seems like it's Cope here, and he just has like a fundamental misunderstanding because he's talking to people just parroting his bullshit back to him. You know what I mean? Because it's like, Dave, you got to understand that they don't mean literally no story. Like, yes, there's attempt at stories, but like Athena just having a belt for a bunch of days isn't a story. What she was doing with Billy Starks was a story. Nobody saw it. So they're not doing stories on AW because that's Ring of Honor and nobody saw it. You get what I mean? That's what people mean. It's like a generality. It's just like an expression. And Dave pretends he doesn't share like the commonality of language with everyone, or he's just fucking seething. And I think it's that. It's just like he just doesn't understand that, you know?
AEW doesn't do stories that people who don't watch the match, they all repeat to each other and it becomes like this thing. They don't do any stories like WWE. It's like, all they do is stories. It's like, are the stories all, they do so many stories.
They do so many. What though? Like, explain to me what are so many right now on like Dynamite. What are so many stories? So Monet, she has all these belts, right? And then she like gets these challengers and these other people, a bunch of them you've never heard of. They show up and then like lose their belts to her, right? And then like every week she gets like mashed potatoes in the face or like cake in the face or like a puppet comes out and disses her, and like it's just so much storytelling. What's the story even with Monet? She's just she's the belt collector. Okay, so like what they did with Kenny, so they're just redoing. So let me grant you that one. So they're just redoing some shit they did 2 years prior again. Well, not to this degree, Brian. It's like, what are you gonna say? You can't explain what's a story about. They do nothing but stories. I don't know, man. Like, just saying that there's a women's tag division now, and then there's belts, and then there's a tournament, and then these women all fight each other in a 4-way, then they face off in a tournament again. Well, they cut promos backstage explaining that like they want to fight and be the best. Awesome. You know, that's all the shit that goes without saying. That's all the background shit. That's the sport. Where's the fucking entertainment now, dude? It's crazy. They do nothing but stories. Explain any of them. And like when they're short term, it's not sufficient. It's a long term weekly. Tony Khan can't help but talk about it's 52 weeks a year. We never get a week off. 52 weeks a year, all year round pro wrestling. So give us a story that goes longer than a fucking year that isn't Moxley killing the ratings. Like, okay, well, he did one there. It went a year. Okay. And what did it do? It tanked the ratings and everyone fucking hated it. Even AEW fans hated it. So where's another? And like, what was Moxley's story? None of it changed. Again, this is why it wasn't a story, because Moxley just continued. He lost the belt. Nothing. Just keeps doing what he was doing. Then he loses to Darby. What happens? Nothing. His goons are just fighting Darby in the opening matches and tag matches and shit now. Nothing. Mox is just running rampant. Now they're in the tag tournament. Now he's like doing goofy shit, making silly faces in the background and being like, ugh, this is all cool. Talking to himself in mirrors. The same shit. Bags over heads. The threats of 12 guys are going to run in on you. Literally nothing changed. So I just don't understand how that's a story. There needs to be peaks and valleys. There needs to be, people's like character shifts and not just, oh, Garcia went heel and joined a group again. Oh, and can you believe it? Garcia got mad and joined a heel group again. That's not a story. Like, that is just shit happening over and over because Tony Khan has like 4 ideas of how to match make, and then he just keeps going to those thinking it's story because he just writes them real quick in his hotel room. Anyways, I'm just taking way too long on this.
That they lose track. The one thing you can't say in AEW is that they don't do stories. Do they do stories trying to? Is there a greater emphasis in AEW on having great matches than WWE? Yes. But they both try to have good matches. But with
And like, what does that mean, dude? So there's not an emphasis on having great matches, or is there an emphasis on WWE and these people are larger than life, and we're not going to they're not going to break their necks on Raw so that we can, okay, they want to go crazy on the PLE, let them go. Give the people what they paid for. This is the shit we put out on TV for free. It's the commercial for our PLE. You know, there's a concept there, Dave.
AEW, it's it's more of a prerequisite, but also AEW's talent is more conducive to having good matches. But as far as like the product, I mean, WWE doesn't have the best product in the world this year by any means. I mean,
by any means. So we have to really think about that. We have to rack our brains around it, Bryan. This year, who's had the better shows? I mean, this is like an end of the year thing I want to do next month for my Christmas show. I like to really rack my brain around all the events, Bry. But I don't know, dude. I think AEW really fucking lost the plot. And I think the shriveling, dwindling audience reflects that. I don't know, dude. I think that WWE's had way better shit. Personally, I think TNA had a really good year. Who put out the best shows? I think you just have to put it on WWE. Production-wise, the shock factor, the names we got to see, like Cena's retirement tour. Oh, but it wasn't booked well. But like, to who, dude? They sold out all these buildings. I love it. I don't know what you're just a E-drone. Okay, you're a AEW dick licker. You know, like we could just play these dumb games all day. So just discard any of that, right? If anybody's going in my imaginary argument here, right? I just don't know how you could argue like the production wise, the name of the stars, the matches we got. You know, like Cena AJ clears the entire year. Like whoever had that match, I think won, you know, just based on that match alone. So yeah, I just think it's like it's cope at this point. It's desperation because it's end of the year and all this TV deals coming up with AEW and or all this Paramount WBD stuff is going on and their TV deal. I don't know. It seems like WBD's regretting like all of their linear TV and their sports shit is what they're saying. We'll cover that more on Saturday's show. But an article came out today where basically they HBO, like WBD said that HBO Sports or what did they change it to? Yeah, HBO Max, like you know, Warner Sports, all the sports they have are pretty much like shit the bed for them. It's not doesn't do anything. So it's like, okay, if AEW is a sport like everyone claims it is, then there you go, you know. It's coming right from the horse's mouth. I don't know what else to say, but anyways, let's listen to what Dave and Brian. We spent too much time on this
obviously they don't
clip
have the
here.
best matches, but they don't have the best product.
They don't have the
But,
best
you know,
matches and
they
they don't have
are
the best
in their-
product. But like, what does that mean? The best product, like the most enjoyable watch and shit? I think for sure WWE has that. That's why they have the most fans. It's like people are like, oh, so is Taylor Swift the best singer? It's like, well, one, that's not what goes into. If your objective is selling a bunch of albums, then being just the best singer, what technically? Not everyone wants to sit there and listen to someone go, he ba bobby, he ba bobby, he ba bobby. Oh, whoa, 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 yeah, yeah. You know, like people don't, not everyone wants to fucking hear that shit, right? Like sometimes you just want to hear a bop. Sometimes you just want to hear music. Some of the best songs in the world don't have the best singing. I think Danzig, for instance, rules. He fucking ain't even good at singing. Bryan Adams is just like the summer of '69, sold 10 billion records, can't even sing. You know what I mean? Some of the best songs, like you know, it's not about like technically being a great singer. It's about like being able to like being a great singer encompasses like I think also like if you're just isolating singing but music and it's like okay, wrestling isn't just physicality. Go shoot fight if that's what you want. Right? Go to MMA if you just want to isolate the physical aspect of wrestling, guys. Otherwise you're a pro wrestler. You have to pro wrestle. It encompasses more. So, like, yes, if you just isolate singing, okay, go on American Idol and everyone will forget about you in 2 years. If you're talking about the fucking, like, what it encompasses to be like a musician, like a top selling artist or whatever the fuck, why most people want to sing in the first place, then yeah, you gotta, like, we can objectively say, yeah, like Christina Aguilera can sing better than Britney Spears, but that's what it's like. Who gives a fuck? Like, who's the bigger star at the end of the day, you know? And that's what they're out there for. So it's just like to say like, oh, it's not the best matches or whatever the fuck. It's like, well, I don't know, man. I think that the way they've had like they've had Penta has bangers on TV, then you watch the PLEs and then you get fucking Cena versus Styles. Like, what more could you ask for?
Thing of
just because you're all getting dropped on your neck doesn't mean it's better wrestling, you know?
Oh,
the sets, the crowds are better, the production's better, the commentary, the delivery, the packages are better in WWE. We can all agree on that. Even Dave will tell you that. So I just don't like, how do we quantify this? I think what Dave said, to quote him, it's about making money, Bryan. It's not about anything else but making money, Bryan. It's about the most viewers, Bryan. Those are his own quotes. So there you go. He can take his own words, his own advice, and fucking quote himself. If he studied and learned himself, he would know that he said that. And if that's the case, Dave, then there you go. It's WWE, right?
And, that's their mentality. And look, they've had 2 years of real freaking great success, almost 3 years actually now, of really great success. So they have the right to say that. But at the same time, I mean, the bloom is off the rose there. It's not, they're not at the peak anymore.
They're not at the peak anymore, dude. They're not at the peak. Peaks and valleys. Well, it's almost like there's ebbs and flows. And he's like, they're not at the peak anymore. Okay. Now do the other company. What are they at? What's TNA at right now? They just did their largest pay-per-view attendance or whatever. So is that the peak or is that not the peak anymore, Dave? Well, they had 2 million watching on TV. Okay. Well, listen, but fucking let's make an argument for some other companies here. Like, if WWE is the peak, they're not at their peak, but they are the peak, right? So what does it matter? What are you talking about? Well, Meltzer said what? We started this all by talking about Meltzer said what? His response to Alvarez is so funny. He goes, here's a story for you. One time Alvarez went on the Jericho cruise and got about 50 feet off the boat before he was identified as a marked tourist and swindled by a local into getting his hair braided. Oh my God. Only fucking Meltzer said what could even like pull a card like that, dude. But it's the asshole tourist haircut. Oh, dude, that's such a good response to that video. Like, why would that be the response? Dave actually stood up for Triple H a little bit. Now, this is a try-and Bryan, but I am going to give Dave a little bit of credit because he was saying things like, listen, I mean, it was expected that SmackDown was going to do a low fucking number. He said it reasonably, but then he did take that opportunity to take shots and be delusional about other shit because he's trying to be pompous. But he was like, well, I mean, it's not over for SmackDown and shit. At least he was honest about that. But then he just, doubled down on other delusions because he was feeling himself a little bit. But here's Tryin' Bryan's take on the SmackDown doom and gloom that we've been, dealing with this last week or so in the IWC. At least if you're on the internet, all you're seeing is like, WWE's dead from like sickos. It's like, why do AEW fans care? Let it fucking go away,
This person says,
let it go away if you wanted to go away. What the fuck are you worried about?
Should politic to replace Paul Levesque as head of creative.
Enjoy all wrestling, I thought, right? That's your motto, not mine.
WWE.
Oh, you or me? I don't want that job.
Man, oh man.
Said Lance. Hours in the day that job takes.
I'm sure it takes a lot. This past, it was funny this weekend. It's like, first you had the SmackDown that did like 4,000 fans, and everyone decided the ship hit the iceberg. And then Saturday there was the Saturday night's main event. Hunter wasn't even there. And then it was just like 4 matches with no angles. I mean, Listen, I like wrestling. I like finishes, but I watch that show live, which means I watch an hour of downtime and then an hour of 4 matches. And by the end, I was like,
it's like nobody watches television, bro. You would think this guy was born in like the year 2010, and he was raised on a tablet his whole life. Like, Brian, you were alive when you probably had to get up and turn the fucking dial on the television and you didn't have a remote or whatever, like what the fuck are you crying about? It's so crazy to me. People used to have to like sit through ads and shit, and they still do when they watch sports. And if you were watching any big sports presentation, there's a billion ads. You don't get as much action. It's the same with like UFC. You're just sitting there through, there'll be 20 minutes between fights sometimes. You're like, holy fuck. When they get to the pay-per-views, they have it formatted well, but when they're trying to like fill that TV time and then like a fight will always fall out, they got like an hour to fill. It's like that. I don't know, man. It's part of watching TV is the fucking ads. Watch it on streaming and shit. I guess he couldn't. I guess he's in America. So I was watching it on YouTube, but even then it would just cut away to like, we'll be right back or whatever the fuck.
Honestly, I'm kind of bored. Like, can we have one angle or something? So,
then he wants angles.
There were people talking this weekend, like, should we be replacing old Levesque here? Because, man, this is not.
Should we be replacing him because they decided to just give Punk a moment and end some fucking feuds and move the Penta Rusev thing along a little bit and
show and. It's boring. He's not even there. Attendance.
He's not even there. It's boring. Triple H isn't even there. Why the fuck does he need to be there? You pussies all cry that he's there and he's P. Diddy, right? He's in all the videos. He's fucking, as Suge Knight said at the Source Awards, right? He's all in the videos and shit, dancing. You guys are mad that you guys are saying he has Dana White syndrome and all this shit. That's literally what you're saying. Now Bryan Alvarez is over here. I'm over here now. And he's saying that fucking Triple H isn't even there. The show fucking stinks. It's just like cope of the highest order.
Then Monday comes. Raw's completely sold out. Fans are going wild. Bunch of great matches. Nothing but angles up and down the show.
Wait. Whoa. Is he talking about Raw? Hold on.
Fans are going. Attendance is down. Then Monday comes.
Yeah. So listen to what this stupid guy says. He goes, then Raw comes along, the show that is typically, they put it on Netflix because everyone has Netflix and it was on fucking cable and network because everybody fucking just has free access. It's the free TV show for them to promote their PLEs, right? And then this dipshit goes, yeah, and it was just angles all on that show. Holy shit, man. Holy fucking shit. Go figure, dude.
Raw's completely sold out. Fans are going wild. Bunch of great matches. Nothing but angles up and down the show. They made some big changes, and it felt hot again. So we'll see how it continues on. They're still averaging 11,700 fans this year.
So Brian's like, I love wrestling and I love finishes, but they gave me a show for once. WWE gave me a show of just finishes and wrestling, but nope. It was still bad and it's terrible. On the topic of like, should Triple H be around anymore? WWE is accused of falling behind due to outdated creative leadership. And this is courtesy of Ringside News, which gripped this from The Observer. And, Brian and Dave were talking about how you need people with ideas who are open to stuff. They have a large writing team. A lot of them are young. I think we have this in clip form. I think we do. Well, let's play this right here and see if they cover some of the same ground. If not, I'll read these quotes. I haven't pulled up right here, but they posed the question here in this clip. Would Tony Khan and Paul Levesque taking a step back from booking help refresh the product? Okay, so Vince just took a step away and it helped refresh the product. Now, what you dumb fucks aren't going to do, Dave, you dipshit, you're not going to say Triple H needs to step back now that he's in his first ebbs and flows, now that he's in his first series of, a downward trend, right? Now he it's his first time like combating, I guess, like I don't want to say what is it? It's not controversy, but it's like any resistance, I guess, or like, hey man, business is it's not as hot right now. Even though TKO just squashed all this, we covered it on the live show on Wednesday. Time Cop. Like TKO, we're talking about all these profits and yada. But this is the first time, Triple H has ever had to like be on his back foot, maybe, but not even really. I mean, if we're to credit and give Dave and all the doom and gloomers like the benefit of the doubt and just say, okay, you guys are right about all this. It's the first time we got to see him like claw his way out and we're just throwing him away instantly. It's ridiculous. Now, when it comes to Tony Khan, I think, yeah, it would help if he stepped back. And here's the thing, too. Tony doesn't even have to step back all the way and just have nothing to do with anything. He could still be like, these are the guys I want to see wrestle for this title. But just let smarter people who are more creative get you to those points. That's all. That's all Tony's got to do. And the problem with Tone is that he's like Vince. He's just spread way too thin. Triple H might be spreading himself thin right now, but that's why he has all of these other people in place who can fucking carry the torch when he's not there. It's like Vince he did every single fucking thing. Triple H oversees everything and he's very hands-on, but he also has delegated. And maybe he's a bit of a mark for himself too. I'm not even denying that. Like, okay, maybe he is. Who gives a fuck? Every wrestler's a mark for themselves. Fuck. Him venturing off and doing these other things, it's like a good sign to me. It's like, okay, he's not going to wear himself thin in this wrestling shit. Whereas Tony Khan is spread too thin as it is with these other sports. And then he's obsessed himself into like delusion. And then nobody's checking him. There's no like checks and balances. There's no filter for him. Triple H, as we saw in the Unreal show, unless that whole thing's fake. But I mean, the creative meetings, by all accounts, by shoot interviews before and after the Unreal show, it's a bunch of people sitting around a fucking table, pitching ideas and da-da-da-da-da, right? Everybody acknowledges this, whether what we saw in Unreal was staged or not, okay? But you see it, like they sit around. It's not like Triple H is just like, this is what's happening. I am the game, and I like to play. It's not that, dude. It's him fucking pitching ideas, being shut down, other guys saying this would work better. I think we should do this. So him being able to go hands off, I think, is a bit of a good sign. Not to say you shouldn't be obsessed over wrestling, but I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Tony Khan, like myself, is a smart. Who's more obsessed with pro wrestling? Me or a Tony Khan or a Triple H who went and did the goddamn thing and reached the pinnacle? Let's be real here about actual fucking what pro wrestling entails here. Who's more obsessed with it? Who wanted that shit more? Triple H, for good goddamn sure, right? I'm just a fan. So it's not about like you have to be obsessed over this fucking thing. They obviously both love pro wrestling in complete and opposite different ways, right? And how funny is it that Husey told us that Tony Khan doesn't even actually need to wear glasses either? He's doing like the Drew Carey thing, wearing fake glasses. How fucking hilarious is that? I didn't even know that. Or if I heard it, I pooped it out of my brain. But either way, though, with Tony, he needs to step back a bit because he's just spread too thin. The same arguments we would make about Vince McMahon and the same arguments I'd make to Triple H if we didn't know that he was willing to leave, just not be at Saturday Night Main Event because he knows other people can run it. And you have talent like Rhodes and Rollins and Punk all expressing interest in wanting to be a part of the business eventually as well. So I'm just confident that ship is in the right hands. It's sailing and everybody, all hands are on deck. Everybody knows what's going on and the direction they're going. Oh, but they work them with a shoot work injury. Okay, you fucking mark, right? We're talking about the overall Rollins instance, some of these little individual instances that people like to paint. SmackDown did a bad number. The whole company's cooked. No, dude. No, that it doesn't paint the picture of the overarching, like the end goal, the island they see right on the horizon. Let's take that's my take on it. I think my opinion is, and I know these chuckle fucks are going to say some dumb shit here. My opinion is Triple H doesn't need to step back right now. and he's already stepping back a bit. So maybe you guys are crying about nothing. Vince definitely needed to, and I guess we're going to play a whataboutism with Vince, but just because, I mean, Vince was there for a little bit while Tony was there, while Tone was in charge. And with Tone, I just think he's proven like he's clueless unless there's like a Rhodes or a Punk or other people helping him. Like even the best shit, Tony Storm. Okay, well, that's all RJ City allegedly. So, and Tony Storm and whatnot. So let's get into this clip here.
I don't know that it's the best thing in the world for the same person to be booking for years and years and years. I mean, as far as having input, yes. And with Levesque, there's a difference in the sense that he's getting ideas from so many different people, and he's just kind of formulating those ideas. But there is still a sameness, and sameness in wrestling leads to some staleness. And with Tony, we're talking
right. Okay, let's. I don't want to just harp on. The same belts, the same tournaments, the same gauntlet match, the same fucking 4-way for 400,000, the same fucking right.
Years as the head booker.
Harp on that all day.
That's a really long time.
I can't even think about what's the same in WWE right now. Like last year, so Cena's about to be done entirely. We have like luchadors running around everywhere. The Rock's nowhere to be found. I don't know. Shit seems different to me in WWE, man.
Sometimes I think that
Becky Lynch is back. I just saw AJ Lee not long ago. Hopefully she comes back. I've been harping on that. I'm not saying it's the best shit ever. I'm not saying it's my favorite top ranked era of wrestling ever in my life, but it is. I don't know if like a year ago, what's more of the same, AEW or WWE. I think WWE's different, dude. TNA people show up now and shit. Fuck you talking about?
Maybe it'd be good for him to like get a booker and take a rest for 6 months and then go back.
But that's did he just admit it? Oh, he just felt it, Tony Khan. Check this out. Let's listen to this. And listen to how he can't just be honest about Tone. Tone calls him too later in the show. We're gonna check in.
That's a really long time. Sometimes I think that maybe it'd be good for him to like get a booker and take a rest for 6 months and then go back. But that's not gonna happen. He loves booking. And
he admitted it. He should hire a booker, but then hiring a booker that's like a bad thing. There's got to be, because you can't just like bring someone in and then fucking like, here, you're in charge while I take off for a bit on a Disney cruise, right? You got to fucking like, man, I've been harping on this. I give Tony Khan shit because like, people claims that he loves pro wrestling so much. He does nothing to develop the future of it. He just pays guys a lot of money. He's not building stars. He's how do I explain this? Like he doesn't give a fuck. Like he just does things like take the national title, doesn't give a fuck about NWA, calls Dave on the phone. Dave's trashing Billy Corgan on his show. What do you think him and Tony are laughing about on the phone? Like, we're not dumb. We're all adults here. Like, well, hopefully we are. I say a lot of cuss words. If you're listening with your kids, I'm fucking sorry, okay? Tony doesn't... We'll get into this in a minute. There's some NWA wrestlers calling out Tony over this national title bullshit, too. They're like, come on, man. It's the NWA, like the oldest wrestling promotion in the Americas or whatever, right? He doesn't give a fuck about that. He just takes titles, doesn't care, and then he, like, hires dead wrestlers' widows to come on and be like, hey, Lou Thez would have loved this style and shit. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's so weird, man. To me, that's not how you show appreciation for pro wrestling, especially like the number one thing you could do is make it better for the generation after you. And that goes for in all things in life, right? Hands down, WWE does it. Now, maybe that's just my opinion. And some people are like, oh, that's some soft shit, Phil. You're a fucking mark. And nah, fuck that. Get your money and run or whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm just saying that Tony definitely, I think, deserves some shit for like hiring people's widows and Rita Chatterton. And then like they just said this week that they got rid of their only training ring. And then you have dumb fucks like Disrespect talking shit. Like your world champion's a guy who's like, fucking, I wouldn't listen to Terry Funk and shit. Or whatever the quote was he said, the empty-headed dumb fuck, as Punk put it, right? Why would I listen to legends? Why would I listen to people who made it before me and shit? Just things like that. I don't know, man. And there's some merit to that as far as like, okay, maybe not fabulous moolah, but whatever. Let's hear what he's got to say about Tone never being willing to step back, which we all know he'll never do. Which he should just book Ring of Honor, put it on YouTube, get some reps in, and then let someone else book this shit until he's confident and ready, or he turns Ring of Honor around in a way where we're like, damn, this guy can book. That's what Tony should do.
For 6 months and then go back. But that's not going to happen. He loves booking, and you know, he is good at it. But I do think that you know, that makes it just look, everyone raves it. Like, I don't care if it's Bill Watts or Dusty or whatever, you know, the guys that were good bookers. They
1,000 fucking years ago on the territories, dude.
They all, you know, I mean, you know, after a couple of years, they all had sameness and they had problems. Roy Shire, Eddie Graham, you know, every one of those bookers. Jerry Jarrett only booked 6 months.
Well, like, what are you saying, that Tony Khan is Jerry Jarrett, bud? Is that what the fuck you're trying to say? Like, what are you trying to say right now?
The best guy's Tony Khan.
What the fuck are you trying to say? That he's Eddie Graham? Is that what you said, my guy? Did you evoke the names of fucking...
They all just look, everyone raves it. Like, I don't care if it's Bill Watts or Dusty or whatever.
Fucking Bill Watts, buddy. There's no fucking... Hey, dude. What are you talking about? So, like, Tony Khan is Bill Watts. Well, yeah, he's a booker. They all had bad times. They all fell on hard times. Just ask Dusty. Dude, that's not the point, right? There's a formula to do this with the longevity. Even TNA realized it, and they've only survived this long because of it. The other companies that had runs at it, even Ring of Honor before Tone bought it, they were very wrestling focused, but they were very much trying to do... I mean, Cody Rhodes went in there and fucking proved that they were doing more sports entertainment-y shit, and their numbers were what they were. I maintain Ring of Honor died because of the pandemic.
You know, the guys that were good bookers, they all, you know, I mean, you know, after a couple of years, they all had sameness and they had problems.
Yeah, it's pro wrestling.
Roy Shire, Eddie Graham, you know, every one of those bookers. Jerry Jarrett only booked 6 months a year because he knew that it's time to pull back and let somebody else do it, whether it was Lawler or Dundee. But okay, Tony,
so then Tone should do that then, right? Say that.
And Levesque. I mean,
and Levesque. Triple H has been booking WWE and overseeing it for less time than Tony Khan has been booking.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
AEW. Like, Vince was still in the mix when Tone started AEW. Oh, well, that's nonsense. Paul was in the booking room. He was part of creative. Okay. That's not the same thing. Tony Khan wasn't like part of creative somewhere for a little bit. And then, bro, it's two completely different backgrounds. But if you just want to boil it down to who's booked their Fed longer, Tony Khan's been booking longer than just Triple H.
Or Dundee. But Tony and Levesque, I mean, and they're doing more TV than any of those people did.
Yeah, this guy's off his fucking rocker. I don't know what else you can say about that. And then there's more of this, you know. Well, let's read some of these quotes here, okay? So, oh yeah, so I guess Triple H was booking NXT, right? So okay, maybe Triple H does have the edge on Tony Khan as far as booking years. Yeah, that makes sense then that way, if you want to count that. But that's developmental. Like, that seems like a whole different thing than booking the main roster of the WWE and being in charge of all that. I think there's like levels to that shit, you know? And with Tone, it's like, okay, he's booking both Ring of Honor and AEW if we want to play the minors or whatever, right? So either way, he should have double the experience points in half the time. There you go. No. Time Cop. I actually, I booked 2 Feds at once.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Anyways, here's some of these quotes. So I think, you know, they're talking about Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes, Paul Heyman, and Meltzer says that, yeah, you know, you need people with the ideas and open to stuff. They have a large writing team, and a lot of them are young, but yes, at the top of the top, you know, like Paul is almost 56. Michael Hayes is older than me. Heyman's 60. I believe Pritchard is in his 60s. So yeah, it's a lot of older people, Brian. Most of them, their whole life is WWE. They're not even watching AEW. Why the fuck would they watch
Just
AEW,
in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
They are watching it. A, they know what's going on. A, and B, why would they need to? Oh man, their whole life, everybody in AEW, for the most part, that's worth watching are people who were in that company that they were like, we don't have anything for you anymore. Their whole life is WWE. They're not watching Lucha Libre. Yeah, WWE and them aren't keeping their eyes on Lucha Libre right now. And they don't hire people who fucking know about Lucha Libre, dude. Yeah, that's for sure what's going on in WWE. You know, the people who own AAA, only the company that owns AAA, yeah, they don't pay attention to Lucha just because they don't watch it and watch Hechicero. They don't watch El Clone. They couldn't tell you one thing about what CMLL is doing or what New Japan is doing. Yeah, they couldn't tell you one thing about what New Japan is doing, but meanwhile, New just trying to book. Meanwhile, they just inducted fucking Jushin Liger and fucking Great Muta into their Hall of Fame, and they're talking about Tanahashi having his final match against Shinsuke Nakamura. WWE for sure doesn't know anything about Nuge. Nick Khan didn't offer Bryan Danielson the ability to wrestle in Nuge because he's not a wrestling fan and he doesn't know about New Japan, and he doesn't know that guys want to work over there, and they're not partnered with Noah, right? They're not partnered with Marigold in some ways. They just sent EO there. They don't know shit about New Japan. Why? Because Tony Khan they just are like, no, we're going to ignore that. No, dude, that's what Vince did. That's not what Triple H and them are doing. Clearly, they don't know what CMLL is doing. I'm sure they do. And the people that they have hired to AAA certainly know what the fuck CMLL is doing over there, because it's in their best interest to fucking know. So what are you talking about? Like, this is such cope. This is cope of like insane, uncanny orders here. So it's a lot of older people, most of them. And what are you, Dave? And this is the thing. Dave is the arbiter of like, dude, you're 1,000 years old. You're fucking Tales of the Crypt Keeper here. And you're fucking trying to tell people what's hip and cool and what WWE should do to stay hip and cool. Who the fuck are you to say anything? Well, Tony Khan, he's much younger than I, and he agrees with me. Yeah, so maybe he's out of touch too. You're not going to keep learning if you're only following your own company. Dude, they don't only follow their own company. They work with TNA and work with multiple companies. This is such insane cope. You got to study the indies. Oh, so you mean like WWE ID? You mean like how they set up a whole show called Evolve?
Dummy, yeah.
You mean like this thing called WWE ID, where they have people out there studying the indies and telling them who should be on their TV show they designed for the fucking indies? Holy fuck, man. David,
you are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
it's fucking nuts, man. And then he goes on to say they only know the way they grew up on, and there are new ways now. Dude, yes, Bruce Pritchard doesn't watch CMLL, but they hired people who do. Okay, and they know what's going on. And Dave Meltzer's the same guy who's written stories about CMLL wrestlers. Oh, WWE really wanted them, but
the best guys, Tony Khan.
WWE really wanted this wrestler, and their ties to CMLL might mess up then. WWE had their eyes on Hechicero and Mystic, whatever the fuck. He said that in the past about multiple wrestlers, but they're not watching CMLL and shit. Liar! Which one is it? And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. Let's go.
Just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.